Waiting out the rain here in Bristol. It's NASCAR on Fox and aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Learn how to win $1 million. Go to directv.com/NASCAR. Jeff Hammond, Chris Myers here in the Hollywood Hotel. And look who's leading the race with 100 laps to go in his first Cup race in Bristol. That's the 12 car of Brad Keselowski. In fact, he's led more laps today, 11 plus, than in the previous 21 races combined.
Pretty impressive. And you think about it like this, Chris. Go back to a couple weeks ago at Atlanta. Very solid run there for Penske Racing in his number 12 car. They come here. Kurt Busch qualifies outside pole, has pretty much, led the majority of this race today. But now he finds his teammate Brad Keselowski lead late in the event.
Kurt Busch has led 208 laps. Carl Edwards currently 15th, a good distance away from the lead. Just a quick safe enough for now, right? A recap here. Clint Bowyer came in 5th in points, but running 16th at the time. Some engine problems and out of the picture early. And then Joe Gibbs Racing with pole sitter Joey Logano, then Hamlin, then Kyle Busch. Tire problems, all kinds of issues.
Yeah, all kinds of issues right there. And you take a look there at Denny Hamlin. He loses the right front, hits the outside safer barrier. He's still running just barely on the lead lap. Then all of a sudden here comes Kyle Busch. He loses the right front tire. He gets an outside safer barrier, and his day has been kind of like long and drawn out. He's running 16th.
Yeah, frustrated here, but running 5th was Greg Biffle, who led for a while in this race, led 70 laps, triggering a wreck that took out Mark Martin. 13 drivers in total that were affected in some way. Kevin Harvick, Montoya, even Carl Edwards with some of that damage.
We had a big one right here. Looked like Talladega, didn't it?
So 7 different leaders and 24 lead changes so far in the race, and we've had a little bit of action, a little bit of rain delay. It was a kind of a combination here with 9 cautions so far.
Well, we've seen a lot of comers and goers. Here's one of the guys that's been making his way back up. He got caught speeding a little while back. He was up in the top 5, and all of a sudden he makes a mistake coming down pit road and had to go out of the back of the tail end of the longest line. He's now battled his way back up to 17th.
And we have a crew chief pit whip. Let's check in down by the pits, and we'll start with Matt Yoakum.
Chris, the guy who made the great call early on to get Brad Keselowski that track position was Jay Guy. He made the call again. Strategy from here on out for your team.
Well, we plan on keeping the Penske Dodge out the rest of the day. We have enough fuel to make it to the end, so we're going to gamble and see what we can come up with. That Miller Lite Dodge behind us is running awful strong today, but we hope we can hold them off and have a good solid points day.
And you look at just the difference in how this team has really rebounded from Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, we've had good cars all year. I mean, Steve Addington coming over, and myself and Travis Geisler, we all work so well together, and we just feed off each other, and all the Penske cars have been running well all year. We don't have the results that we need. The 2 cars running well, but we're making progress every week, and we're just happy about that.
If we go into overtime, do you have enough fuel for that situation?
All depends how many cautions we have left. I hope so, but we'll just see and play it by ear.
Dick Berggren?
With Steve Addington, Kurt Busch's crew chief. Hey, we're getting near the end of this thing. What do you think? You're going to be able to win it?
Well, I think our car's strong enough to win it. The 48 and the 16, those guys are really good, but I think that we're right there with them. I mean, our car's been pretty good from the start of the race, so I believe we got something for them. Maybe put this Miller Lite Dodge back in victory lane 2 weeks in a row.
All right, Steve.
With Chad Canals, and Chad, you guys have been working hard on that right front tire to save it. Are you in? You said this morning you want to be in the top 10. When you get close, you're there now.
Yeah, we're pretty pleased with the car. It's been pretty good all day long, and we did have some and have had some right front tire problems. We kind of thought there might be some issues with that coming into the race, and unfortunately it came through. So we made some pretty significant changes to the Lowe's Chevrolet, and it's running pretty well. Obviously this rain makes your pit strategy a little iffy from time to time, but we're going to play it to the best of our ability, and hopefully we can be in a position to battle for the win. But if nothing else, if we get a top 10, we're going to be pleased.
Thank you, Chad. Good luck. Let's go back to Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Steve. Jimmie Johnson, 49 career Cup wins. He's never won here at Bristol, and this is the last race with that wing before we go to the spoiler in Martinsville. And I bring that up because Jimmie Johnson, of course, he dominated in every category, but he won the most races, 21 races under that wing. And you heard his crew chief. You heard also Steve Addington talk about they're worth watching.
Well, the thing is right now, I'm not going to worry about that spoiler next week because we're really going to try to stay focused on what's happening here today. And as far as the 48 car and the rest of these teams are concerned, I don't care what you put Jimmie Johnson in and Chad Canals working on, they're going to make it get to victory lane eventually. So just be a matter of time for them boys getting back there. But I think his focus that they would like to be able to go out of this race and say that they won with this car in this configuration just for the personal pride of it. And they have run well today. But again, track position here late in this race and being in the right position maybe two different things. When they drop this green flag, there's some guys up front we're not too sure about how good they're going to go. The battle to get up to the front could be what's going to be interesting, watching Kurt and him both trying to battle it through along with Greg Biffle.
Yeah, and you on the pre-race show, you predicted Jimmy Johnson to win this race. Darrell Waltrip
at least beat Darrell.
He went with Kurt Busch, which made it interesting. And now the weather, it may be a factor here.
Yes.
And you know, the last 3 spring races here at Bristol, we've had overtime. In other words, the green-white checker finish. And now, of course, this year, of the 4 previous races, we went into a second green-white checker, and we have an option of going as many as 3. So you heard even the crew chiefs have to start thinking about weather, about fuel, and of course just a matter of having their drivers survive.
I'm just glad I'm not on top of the pit box right now because of that multiple green-white checkers. I think that's something that really throws you a curve that you really can't already really figure out what to do for sure, because the luck of the draw, the luck of the start. We saw a week ago when they dropped the green flag in Atlanta, or 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, one guy spun his tires and stacked everybody up in the outside line, and the inside line took off. So you just never know what's going to happen. And here at this short track, it's going to be 10 times worse because these guys are going to run over top of each other. They're not going fast enough to scare each other, so they're not going to be worried about running over each other.
We've already had a 13-car wreck. You talk about being thrown a curve. Beginning April 10th, America's Pastime returning to Fox with the best players, teams, and matchups every week. Begins with the World Series champion Yankees taking on the Rays, or the Cardinals Brewers. Some will see Mariners Rangers. Fox Saturday Baseball returns April 10th. Note the special time of 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, and 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on Fox. As boy,
a modified racer.
you have to modify to hang in there with Bristol.
Bristol special.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is presented by GoDaddy.com, where you can make the web your domain with a .com name for less than $1 a month. And sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Now, any regular footlong is just $5. Any. So hurry in. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Here's the situation with 90 laps to go. We're ready to go back to green. The first 3 cars, Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, and Sadler, did not pit. Under this caution, green flag.
90 laps to go, 89. Ladies and gentlemen, let the wrecking begin.
Boy, Gordon got out of shape off turn 2. It's almost like he clipped the apron. Kurt Busch drives by him now. He goes after his teammate Keselowski.
Jeff Gordon wasn't very good, you know, before this last caution. I'm not sure for some or all of this car if he got in this accident down here or not.
2 of Roger Penske's cars side by side as they were in yesterday's nationwide race. Yesterday, young Justin Allgaier went to victory lane with Keselowski second. The veteran Busch and the Sprint Cup rookie Keselowski in the 12 in his very first Cup race at Bristol.
Here comes those 2 Hendrick cars, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, with McMurray in that 1 not far behind.
I think if I were Keselowski, if I had a shot, I'd let the 2 get in front of me, because they're going to hold each other up and let these other 3 guys behind them catch up there and get in a race with them. I believe I'd let my teammate go right here. Give him some room, let him go.
Jimmy Johnson third, diving to the bottom for second.
I think that's the guy that the 2 car has got to worry about. Jimmy Johnson. They have made that car pretty solid, and with only about 85 laps to go here, he can lean on that right front all he wants to.
Well, Darrell, I think you said it earlier in the broadcast. We've seen cars run in the 2nd groove. We've seen cars run in the 3rd groove. But if you're going to prevail, you better be able to run it right there where that 48 car is at.
And now the first 2 cars to come off pit road with new tires are the first 2 cars in the race, Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Sadler, who started up there with the leaders, he's faded back, Larry, out of the top 10.
Yeah, you've got to have a good handling race car if you're going to stay up there. And I tell you, another guy that's come in there is that 77 car, Sam Hornish Jr. And just think about all the trials and tribulations that 18 car Kyle Busch has had, and he's sitting there now back inside the top 15.